My sister didn't just uninvite me from her wedding. She erased me from it. Not quietly. Not awkwardly. Publicly. The message appeared in the family group chat at exactly 9:14 p.m. A single sentence. After careful consideration, Emilia will no longer be attending the wedding. For a moment, I thought it was a joke. Then the next message arrived. Please respect our decision. Our decision. Not hers. Not mine. Someone else. And that was the moment I realized something was very wrong. Because 10 minutes earlier, my sister had called me crying. My sister and I grew up 2 years apart. Same bedroom until high school. Same friends. Same secrets. People used to joke that we were built-in best friends. And for most of our lives, that was true. When she got engaged the year before, she called me first. Not our parents. Not her fiancé. Me. I want you as my maid of honor, she said. Of course I said yes. For the next 6 months, my life revolved around that wedding. Dress fittings. Venue visits. Late-night planning calls. I handled everything. Flowers. Seating charts. The bridal shower. Even the bachelorette weekend. My sister hated confrontation and logistics. So I took care of it. Because that's what older sisters do. Protect. Organize. Fix things. Looking back now, I should have noticed the small changes earlier. The tension. The hesitations. But when you love someone your whole life, you don't expect them to become a stranger overnight. The first strange moment happened on a Tuesday afternoon. I was leaving work when my phone buzzed. My sister rarely called during work hours, which is why I answered immediately. Hey, I said. Silence. Then I heard something strange. Breathing. Uneven. Like she had been crying. Emilia, she whispered. I'm here. She hesitated, then said something that made my stomach tighten. Have you told anyone? Told anyone what? Another pause. Then her voice changed. Not scared. Careful. I just wanted to check. Check what? But she had already hung up. At the time, I assumed she was stressed about the wedding. Planning a wedding does that to people. I didn't think much of it. That was my first mistake. 2 days later, my mother called. Her voice sounded tense. Did something happen between you and your sister? No, I said. Why? Another pause. Then she said something strange. She seems upset with you. That didn't make sense. We had talked that morning about cake flavors. Upset about what? I asked. I don't know, my mother said. She just said she needed space. Space. From her maid of honor. From her sister. From me. Something felt wrong. But I dismissed it. Families have strange emotional moments sometimes. I told myself it would pass. It didn't. The next clue came during dress fitting. The bridal party gathered at the boutique. Champagne. Music. Excited chatter. But my sister barely spoke to me. Every time I asked a question, she answered quickly and turned away. Eventually, I pulled her aside. Did I do something? I asked. She stared at the floor. No. Then why are you acting like this? She hesitated, then forced a smile. I'm just stressed. I wanted to believe her. So I did. But as we were leaving the boutique, I overheard something. One of the bridesmaids whispered to another. Is she really still coming? Apparently not. I turned around. What does that mean? Both women froze. Nothing, one said quickly. But their faces told a different story. Something was happening behind my back. And everyone knew about it except me. The next day the group chat message appeared. The one that uninvited me. No explanation. No warning. Just removal. Within minutes, people started responding. Confusion. Questions. Then silence. Because my sister wrote one more message. Please don't ask me to discuss this further. That was it. I called her immediately. She didn't answer. I called again. Voicemail. Again. Nothing. By midnight, I had called 12 times. No response. The next morning, my mother called. She says she needs distance from you, she explained carefully. Distance from what? I don't know. You didn't ask. My mother hesitated. She seems hurt. Hurt about what? Another pause. Then the sentence that changed everything. She thinks you betrayed her. Betrayed her. The word felt surreal. How? I don't know. The worst part wasn't the accusation. It was the silence. My sister refused to explain. My family refused to question it. And slowly, the narrative started changing. Relatives stopped calling. Friends stopped asking about the wedding. One had even sent me a message saying, "Whatever happened, I hope you two can reconcile." Reconcile what? No one knew. Except my sister. And she wasn't talking. 3 weeks passed like that. 3 weeks of silence. 3 weeks of confusion. 3 weeks of slowly realizing something horrifying. Someone had turned my sister against me. And they were very good at it. The first clue came from an email. Not sent to me. Sent accidentally. A bridesmaid forwarded a vendor invoice to the group. Except she didn't realize I had already been removed. My email address was still attached. When the message arrived, I almost ignored it. Until I noticed the subject line. Updated guest list. Curious, I opened the attachment. And that's when I saw something strange. A name I didn't recognize. Next to the maid of honor position. I stared at it. Someone had replaced me. Quietly. Quickly. Without discussion. At the time, I tried to dismiss it. Maybe it was temporary. Maybe they needed someone to fill in. But then I noticed something else. The person replacing me was the groom's sister, which meant something important. The decision hadn't come from my sister. It had come from someone else. The second clue came from a conversation I wasn't supposed to hear. A week later, I ran into one of the bridesmaids at a cafe. She looked uncomfortable when she saw me. We chatted awkwardly for a minute. Then I asked the question everyone had been avoiding. Do you know why she's angry with me? The girl hesitated. You really don't know? No. She looked around nervously. Then whispered something that made my stomach drop. She thinks you tried to ruin her engagement. What? She thinks you told people her fiancé cheated. I felt the air leave my lungs. That's insane. I know, the girl said quietly. But someone showed her messages. Messages? What messages? I don't know, she said. But she believes them. I went home that night and stared at the ceiling for hours. Because suddenly, everything made sense. Someone had framed me. And my sister believed them. The next day, I went through every conversation I had ever had about the wedding. Texts, emails, messages, nothing. No rumors. No accusations. Nothing even close. Which meant one thing. The messages were fake. Fabricated. And someone wanted my sister to believe them. But who? The answer came 2 days later. Completely by accident. I was scrolling through social media when I saw a photo. The groom's sister. Standing next to my sister. Holding up a glass of champagne. The caption read, Sisters by Marriage Rudd. The date caught my attention. The photo was taken the same day I was uninvited. That alone wasn't suspicious, until I zoomed in and noticed something on the table. A phone, with a message thread open. I recognized the layout immediately. It looked like my text conversation with my sister. Except, the messages weren't mine. My heart started racing. I downloaded the photo, zoomed in again, and read the text. I don't think the marriage will last. My name was attached to the message. Except I had never written it. Not once. Not ever. Which meant one thing. Someone had forged the conversation. And suddenly, everything became clear. The groom's sister wanted control of the wedding. And the easiest way to get it was to remove me. At first, I wanted to confront her. Expose everything. Tell my sister the truth. But then a thought stopped me. If someone was willing to fake messages, what else were they willing to do? So I didn't confront her. I didn't call my sister. I didn't argue. Instead, I started preparing. I saved the photo. Then I did something simple. I contacted a digital forensics consultant. Within 3 days, he confirmed what I suspected. The messages were fake. Fabricated screenshots. Edited. Manipulated. But he also discovered something else. Metadata. The images had been created on one specific device. The groom's sister's phone. That alone wasn't enough. So I kept digging. I checked email timestamps, call records, photo locations. Piece by piece, the story came together. And once I saw the full picture, I understood why she had done it. Because if I stayed maid of honor, I would control the wedding finances. And she wanted access to them. Access to the gifts, the deposits, the vendor payments, thousands of dollars. And suddenly, the wedding wasn't just a wedding. It was an opportunity. So I waited, quietly, for the perfect moment. The wedding arrived 3 months later. I wasn't invited, but my parents were. And so were 200 guests. Halfway through the reception, my phone rang. It was my sister. For the first time in weeks. I answered. Her voice sounded different. Shaken. "Emilia," she said. "Yes. I need to ask you something." "What is it?" "Did you ever say my fiancé cheated?" The room around her sounded loud. Music. Voices. Celebration. But underneath it, I heard panic. "No," I said calmly. A long silence followed. Then she whispered something chilling. "Because someone just confessed." My chest tightened. "Who?" "The best man." Another pause. "He said the groom's sister asked him to spread the rumor." Suddenly, the music behind her stopped. Voices rose. Confusion filled the background. "What's happening?" I asked. "She showed me the messages," my sister said. "The real ones. And they're fake." The silence between us felt enormous. Then she asked the question she should have asked months ago. "Why didn't you tell me?" I exhaled slowly. "I tried." Another long pause. Then she whispered something that sounded like regret. "I'm so sorry." Across the line, I heard shouting. Arguments. The kind that end celebrations permanently. And in that moment, I realized something strange. I didn't feel angry. Just tired. Because the truth had finally come out. And suddenly, no one was laughing anymore.